The Order of the Russian Star now welcomes you to the inauguration of a new Russian state.
My order is now the only authority in Russia. In 10 hours, we exercise our newfound strength once again.
There is but one way to prevent the destruction of
New York City.
your complete and unconditional surrender.
My fellow Americans, today has been a day of great tragedy. San Francisco will never be the same, and the toll of our war has increased by countless men, women, and children. Their loss is deeply felt by every American. To those who have committed this heinous act, we say firmly, we will not negotiate with those who wish to destroy us. Our strength is unmatched, our will resolute. We will be victorious. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.
SCO-1 Providence is currently under the control of those responsible for the coup in Moscow. We believe the operation is being led by a Red known as Zaitsev. Oh yeah, this is Sam. DARPA sent him to come along with us. Men, we've got 8 hours to stop New York from becoming the next San Francisco. Make no mistake, we will stop that from happening.
Sam, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but your new friends don't seem too fond of you.
DARPA operatives take their orders directly from POTUS and SecDef. These guys are just interested in marking their territory.
Sam, remember why we're here.
Just listen to me. The American government has been betrayed by one of its own. You two are the only ones I can trust with this information. The Russian military is planning on using the microwave energy array to attack the U.S. As its designer, I cannot abide this misuse for such a heinous purpose. You know what must be done.
We'll get the professor back. This place, hell, even this suit runs on his energy designs. He's too valuable to kill.
I know.
This the toy you've been working on? Not even scratched. You did get some training in this thing, right?
Our simulators are very thorough. They did quite a number on you, huh? We could use you as a test subject at DARPA. What the fuck, man?
Going in hard and fast. All units, proceed to the ramps.
You're not allowed to smoke on the ship.
There's a very specific feeling you get when you boot up Vanquish for the first time, and it's not subtle. The game doesn't ease you in, It doesn't slowly introduce its mechanics, and it definitely doesn't ask whether you're ready. It just throws you in forward at full speed and dares you to keep up. From the very beginning, Vanquish communicates exactly what it is: aggressive, fast, and completely uninterested in playing by the usual third-person shooter rules. A lot of games talk about momentum, but Vanquish actually builds its entire identity around it. Even before you fully understand how the game works, you can feel that stopping is wrong. Standing still feels like you're playing incorrectly. The game subtly trains you through discomfort. When you hesitate, you get overwhelmed. When you move, things click. That immediate clarity of purpose is rare. Vanquish doesn't want to be everything. It wants to be this, and it commits fully. To really appreciate Vanquish, you have to remember when it came out. The early 2010s were flooded with cover-based shooters that emphasize caution, regeneration, and slow advances. Duck behind a wall, pop up, shoot, repeat. That formula worked, and a lot of great games came out of it, but it also became safe, predictable, and frankly kind of boring. Vanquish showed up and basically said, what if we did the opposite? Instead of hugging cover, the game encouraged you to slide across open ground. Instead of patiently waiting for health to regenerate, you're constantly balancing risk and reward. Instead of methodical pacing, you get chaos that only makes sense if you're actively participating in it. It felt rebellious, not in a loud, edgy way, but in a design-focused way. This was a shooter that trusted players to learn through motion instead of tutorials. At the heart of Vanquish is one brilliant ideal: movement. Movement is not just mobility, it's offense, defense, and strategy all at once. The game's defining mechanic, the boost, isn't just there to get you from point A to point B faster. It's how you dodge, reposition, close gaps, escape danger, and line up shots. The boost system turns the battlefield into something fluid instead of static. This changes how you think. Enemies aren't obstacles you slowly dismantle. They're problems you solve in motion. Every encounter becomes a mental puzzle happening at the speed of reflex. And importantly, the game doesn't automate this for you. There's no lock-on crutch, no overpower safety net. If you mess up, that's on you. But when things go right, it feels incredible. One of Vanquish's most impressive achievements is how little it explains itself while still feeling understandable. The game gives you tools, throws enemies at you, and trusts you to figure it out. You learn not because a pop-up tells you what to do, but because the situation demands it. You boost because walking gets you killed. You slide into slow motion because it gives you breathing room. You manage resources because reckless play has consequences. This kind of design respects the player's intelligence. It assumes you're paying attention, and if you're not, the game doesn't slow down to wait for you. That can be intimidating at first, but it also what makes the mastery curve so satisfying. You can feel yourself getting better not through stats or upgrades, but through instinct. Combat in Vanquish is best described as controlled chaos. Enemies are aggressive, numerous, and visually overwhelming. But the chaos isn't random. Every threat has a purpose, every attack pattern is readable once you've seen it enough. The game constantly pushes you to prioritize. Do you eliminate the biggest threat first, or clear the smaller enemies to reduce pressure? Do you stay mobile and risk overheating, or slow down and risk being surrounded? These decisions happen in seconds, sometimes milliseconds. What makes this special is that the game never pauses to let you think. The thinking happens while moving. That's rare, and it's exhilarating. Vanquish's weapon design is refreshingly focused. Each gun has a clear role, and none of them feel redundant. You're encouraged to switch between weapons, constantly. Not because the game forces you to, but because the situation changes so quickly. There's no single best weapon that solves every problem. Instead, you develop preferences based on your playstyle. Some weapons reward precision, others reward crowd control, and some are situational lifesavers. What's important is that the weapons complement movement. They're designed to be used while boosting, sliding, and repositioning. This keeps the combat loop cohesive instead of fragmented. Vanquish doesn't apologize for being hard at times. It's not unfair, but it is demanding. The difficulty comes from asking you to engage fully with its systems, instead of half playing them. If you try to approach it like a traditional shooter, the game pushes back hard. Enemies punish passive play. Levels are built to expose hesitation. But when you lean into mechanics, the difficulty feels fair, even generous. This creates a strong sense of ownership over success. When you clear a tough encounter, it doesn't feel like the game let you win. It feels like you earned it. Visually, Vanquish is striking, but not in a showy way. The environments are clean, readable, and designed to support gameplay first. You can always tell where threats are coming from and where you can move next. The sci-fi aesthetic is sleek and sterile, which fits the game's tone. There's a sense of scale without clutter. Big arenas give you room to move, which is essential for a game built around speed. Enemy designs are bold and readable, prioritizing silhouettes and attack cues over unnecessary detail. This reinforces the idea that everything on screen exists to serve the moment-to-moment experience. Sound design in Vanquish does a lot of heavy lifting. Boosts gunfire, enemy attacks. They all have distinct audio cues that help you react quickly. There's a satisfying punch to every action. Shots feel powerful, movement feels responsive, and impacts are communicated clearly. This feedback loop is crucial in a game that moves this fast. Without it, everything would blur together. Instead, the game feels sharp. You always know when you've done something right and when you haven't. The story in Vanquish exists, but it knows its place. It's there to give context, not to dominate the experience. Characters are exaggerated, dialogue is dramatic, and the tone leans into sci-fi spectacle rather than emotional depth. This works because the game never pretends to be something it's not. The narrative doesn't interrupt gameplay constantly. Cutscenes are brief, and the focus quickly returns to action. For a game like this, the restraint is a strength. The story adds flavor without slowing the pace. And one of Vanquish's most defining traits is its pacing. The game rarely gives you long breaks. Levels are structured as a series of escalating encounters, each building on the last. This relentless momentum reinforces the game's identity. You're always moving forward, always under pressure, always reacting. It's exhausting in the best possible way. Importantly, the game is aware of this intensity and doesn't overstay its welcome. It knows when to end before the experience becomes tiring. Vanquish truly shines when replayed. Once you understand the systems, the game transforms. Encounters you once survived become opportunities to experiment, optimize, and show off. Higher difficulties don't just increase enemy health, they demand cleaner execution and smarter decisions. The game becomes less about survival and more about style. This creates a strong sense of longevity for players who enjoy mastery. You're not grinding for better gear, you're refining yourself. Despite its brilliance, Vanquish didn't spawn a wave of similar games, and that says more about the industry than it does about the game. High-speed, skill-based shooters are risky. They demand more from the players and offer less immediate comfort. In a market often driven by accessibility and broad appeal, Vanquish was a harder sell. But that also makes it special. It exists as a focused, uncompromising vision that didn't get diluted. In an industry that often cycles trends, Vanquish still feels fresh because it was never chasing one. It represents a kind of design confidence that's rare, a game built around one core ideal, executed fully, without hedging its bets. Vanquish matters because it reminds us that the action games don't have to be slow, safe, or overly complicated to be deep. It proves that speed and strategy aren't opposites, that difficulty can be fair, that learning through play can be more powerful than instruction. It's not a perfect game, and it doesn't try to be, but what it does with absolute conviction, and sometimes that's more memorable than perfection. Playing Vanquish feels like being trusted to learn, to adapt, to fail, and to improve. It doesn't hold your hand, but it also doesn't cheat you. It meets you at your level and pushes you to go faster. In a medium that often plays it safe, Vanquish took a risk, and even years later, that risk still pays off every time you hit the boost button and dive headfirst into chaos.